with the Denver Broncos set to host the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football in Week 13. That means that Jerry Jeudy's anticipated return to the Mile High City has arrived. But before we talk about that, guys, I want to shout out the affiliate partner for today's video, Green Gridiron Helmets. Use code DENSYN, DENSYN, link in the description down below to save off your first purchase on authentic NFL helmets, from small replicas like this one to full-size authentic helmets. Again, that is code DENSYN, link in the description down below. The holidays are coming up, so this would be a really cool gift for your friends and family. Alright guys, back to your regularly scheduled content. Jerry Jeudy is set to make his return to Denver, and the former number 15 overall pick out of Alabama by the Broncos in 2020 never emerged into the wide receiver one that the Broncos had hoped he would be. Between his own shortcomings as a player and shortcomings that he had to deal with coaching and the quarterback position, Jeudy just never found his footing here in Denver. When Sean Payton arrived in 2023, yes, Russell Wilson and Jerry Jeudy had a good relationship, but it just was never clear what Jeudy's role was in this offense, and he would have spurts where he'd be hot and then spurts where he would be cold. It was pretty clear that Jerry Jeudy wasn't going to be part of the Broncos' long-term plans. He wasn't going to get the kind of money from the Broncos that he got from Cleveland after getting traded there. The Broncos netted a 5th and a 6th round pick in the trade, and yes, Denver has had their shortcomings at the wide receiver position this year, but we are starting to see guys like Devon Vele step up, and next season, Denver's going to have the capital to address the wide receiver position even further. Courtland Sutton continues to showcase that he is the true wide receiver one for this team, at least for this season. I think next year there might be reason to have conversation about that, especially if they could get an upgrade at wide receiver one, but for now, the Broncos seem like they are content without Jeudy despite their shortcomings at the wide receiver position. And as far as Jeudy's concerned in Cleveland, it was a rough start for him there, especially because he could never get on the same page with Deshaun Watson. Plus, Watson's play in general was just god-awful. He was literally the worst starting quarterback in the NFL by several statistical categories until he got injured. Finally, Jameis Winston came into the starting lineup for the Browns, and looking at Jeudy's production since Winston entered the lineup, oops, you guys saw a little piece of the future of this video here, but looking at Winston here, ever since he came in, Jeudy has been really getting the ball at a high level, and the chemistry between Jeudy and Winston is a lot more apparent than the chemistry between him and Watson ever was. Jeudy and Winston are on the same page in terms of where each other is going to be, where Judy's going to sit down in zone coverage. We already know that Judy's a really good route runner, and he put that on display in a clinic against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But in the last 3 games that Jeudy played with Deshaun Watson, he literally had 1 catch in each of those games. Looking at these 4 games that he's played with Winston, 5 catches for 79 yards versus Baltimore, 7 catches for 73 yards versus the Chargers, 6 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown versus the Saints, and then 6 catches for 85 yards versus the Steelers. And several of those catches were key 3rd down catches. I thought Jeudy was awesome in that game against the Steelers. So Judy's going to come into this game clearly with something to prove, and he's really starting to step up into that wide receiver one role with Amari Cooper no longer there, first of all, and now that he finally has competent quarterback play. But the Broncos, I think, have the leg up in terms of defending Jeudy. You guys saw the preview. It's going to be, of course, Pat Surtain, who's going to be traveling with Jeudy pretty much the entire game as far as I'm concerned. Pat Surtain and Jerry Jeudy, they go way back. Even farther back than their days at Alabama together. They grew up in the same area in South Florida, in the Miami area, and they both have had this kind of rivalry, this friendly rivalry with each other ever since childhood, playing Pop Warner football against each other. Now they get a chance to go against each other for the first time as professionals, and this is going to be really fun, man. Pat Surtain, he should be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year this year, but unfortunately, that stat has really become who had the most sacks in a season, or who was the most productive overall defensive lineman that season. I can't remember the last time a DB won the award. Well, actually, you know what? Thinking about it, was, I think, Stephon Gilmore in 2019. If Stephon Gilmore can win the Defensive Player of the Year award in the modern football era, then there's no reason at all why Surtain shouldn't. But stepping off the soapbox there, looking at Surtain's numbers this year, he's first in passer rating allowed, yards allowed, EPA per target, target window percentage, target rate, yards after the catch, and then he's second in receptions allowed and yards per target. That is the definition of a true shutdown corner. He can take away teams' number one receiving threats. It's going to be fun watching Jeudy and Surtain go against each other because they both know each other's tells. They know what certain leverage is with their shoulders and various things like that, what certain footwork means with each other. They know all of the tells. So it's going to be fun. I think that Surtain's going to win some of the matchups, and I think Jeudy's going to win some of them. I think we'll see Jeudy get a couple catches on Surtain, but for the most part, I think Surtain is going to be able to take away Jerry Jeudy in this game. Jeudy's had some fantastic games these past few weeks, but if there's one guy who knows Jeudy the best, it's Pat Surtain, and Surtain should be able to shut him down. And additionally, I think that the Broncos should employ the strategy of trying to get into Jerry Jeudy's head. Play physical with him. Play press coverage. Get your hands on him. Rough him up a little bit. And just get him frustrated, because we all know that when Jerry Jeudy gets frustrated, that's when he's prone to making mental mistakes like dropping the ball, running the wrong route, so on and so forth. We've seen that aplenty here in Denver. So the Broncos know how to rough up Jeudy, how to get in his head, and basically make him take himself out of the game just by not being mentally in the game, if that makes any sense. So I think that's going to be the strategy. Just play tough, play physical, play aggressive, and get Jeudy pissed off. Because when he gets pissed off, that's when he plays his worst football. We've even seen that during various points in Cleveland this year, where the frustration boils over. He's throwing his helmet on the sideline. He's ticked off that he's not getting the ball. He's ticked off that he's being shut down, especially in those 3 games where he was held to only 1 catch. If you can get a game like that out of Jerry Jeudy, then that's going to be advantage Denver Broncos. So I am curious, Broncos country, how do you guys feel about Jerry Jeudy making his return to the Mile High City? And who do you think has the advantage in the matchup between him and Pat Surtain? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. We are getting so close to 5,500 subscribers. We just hit 5,000. We can push for 5,500, I believe, by the end of next month. So if we can get there by the end of December, that would be huge. We could then get to 6,000, hopefully by the time the Denver Broncos have taken their last snap in 2024. So let's make a big push, guys. I think we can get to 5,500 by the end of December, and I think we can get to 6,000 by the end of January. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.